Hi there, this tutorial will give you a brief intro into conversion of a PowerPoint document to a Sway. So if you haven't used Sway, it is one of the apps that lives here in Microsoft 365 in your app launcher, also known as the Waffle. And so if you don't see it here, in mine it's populated because it's one of my frequently used apps, but if you don't see it there, you can simply explore all apps and then search for it and you'll find it. But once it's opened, the easiest way to do this is to start from a document and then simply upload or import your existing PowerPoint into the Sway itself. And so I'll show you my PowerPoint before I do that, just so you can see what it looks like and kind of see truly just how easy it is to really convert an existing PowerPoint into a Sway. And one of the main perks or benefits that I have found is the accessibility for students in an online class. So if I'm teaching primarily online, I have a couple of different ways, of course, of delivering information. One of them is simply voiceover on my PowerPoint itself. But that leaves a lot of issues for accessibility for students, as well as difficulty with them being able to go back and review specific slides or information without having to scroll back and forth on a video. So as you can see, it's just a basic PowerPoint. I have lots of videos embedded. I have lots of different kinds of fonts embedded, different pictures, and there's kind of just a whole bunch of different things in here that are existing already. So I'm going to start my Sway from that existing file, and it takes just a couple minutes usually for it to convert. One of the nice things about this conversion is that since they're both Microsoft apps, it makes it relatively easy. I've tried to convert PowerPoints before into different formats, and it's not quite so easy. They don't like each other so much, and it gets very difficult with formatting and boxes and just trying to get everything to look presentable, and certainly doesn't support with accessibility issues, which is my main intent for this shift, is making things accessible for students in an online class. And so you'll see how that actually happens and why that is so feasible and beneficial for students once we see this conversion and how it looks. So you'll see at a glance the conversion, and as with everything else, of course, there are some little tweaks that need to happen in order to get things to look just right, but I'm just going to kind of go through that as I'm talking so you can really get a feel for how quick and truly easy it is to do that in this format. So I've kind of taken a look at it so I know generally where I want to make some changes. And then it's just as simple as coming up here to edit. And one of my really truly most favorite things about Sway is how easy it is to switch back and forth and preview your design. It is live, and so there's no need to save or override or download the file or really do anything. You can make edits here in the storyline view and then switch right back to design and very quickly at a glance see what you've done and how things have changed. So I have a couple of extra things in here which are creating my gaps. So here there's a large gap, and that's just simply because I have an image card here with no image on it. So it's just as simple as clicking it, and then I just click delete and it should be gone. And so I can quickly refer back and see, yes, in fact, it is gone. I no longer have a gap. And so there's just really such a smooth ability to format within Sway, which is my favorite, very favorite part about it. And so it makes things super easy and super user-friendly, I think, without any training or additional sort of need for support. If things aren't large enough, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to just do trial and error and troubleshoot and figure things out. That bumps it down to the next line. So again, you know, there's lots of ways to really tweak this to look how you want it to look. And so it's I think, a fabulous way of easily editing and creating something that in the end is very feasible for students as far as access, but also visually appealing to them. And so, you know, again, it's just kind of trial and error and figuring things out and kind of designing it how you want it to look. And then just adjusting as you go, you know, and the nice thing is you can't really mess things up too bad without easily being able to fix it. And so I'm kind of just bouncing some things around here, getting rid of some things I already know that I don't want. If I know something should be a heading, I'm turning it into a heading. You every once in a while do get some extra things that come over from the PowerPoint because of a graphic or whatever that may have been there that we don't want to see back here once we get to our sway. So as you can see, there's some really awesome tools available in here. You can emphasize things, you can accent things, you can truly create something. You know, I saw a teacher do this with an art class, art history, and so she had lots of pictures of paintings and kind of different things that she needed the students to look at and review and evaluate. And so she used this, and the flow of it was just absolutely beautiful. It just worked so smoothly and was just amazing. So truly, there are a lot of perks to using this, and I really have found it to be very user-friendly and easy to navigate. So I'm going to stop there just so you can sort of see what it looks like. Everything I've turned into a header, you can see is a header now and exists as one. And so that kind of creates the flow and helps you to separate things and sort things. It's not perfect yet, of course. I do have a couple additional headers I want to add. I need to resize some things so that they are the correct size and there's uniformity in size. I still have an extra graphic here. So again, I'll show you how easy it is to switch back and forth and see exactly what it is that is there that's extra. So that is beneath my parent questionnaire header. So it would be this one here. So delete that one. And it's now gone. So I want this one to move down. So I need to make it larger so it fills the full screen. So if I'm wanting two things next to each other, of course, I would leave it and then it would allow those two things to sit right next to each other, but I want it to expand more. So, and I could expand it even further if I wanted to. In this case, I don't, because I want them to all be sort of individual. So in the end, what I want you to see truly is the accessibility for students, which is just amazing. Obviously, there's no slides to click through. There's no time to be spent navigating back and forth on a video. I've now turned my entire PowerPoint into a one-page document that would be extremely easy for a screen reader to navigate. If you click here on the three dots here at the top and do accessibility checker, it will tell you any issues that it finds as far as accessibility. And it also has a tutorial and tips for making your sway accessible, which is fabulous. So I'm missing a couple of alternative texts or need a default alternative text. In this case, it's in Spanish. If it's just a decorative image, I can certainly highlight that, and then that would let the student know that it's nothing they need to worry about. But as far as for the student view, if you do accessibility view, it's kind of fabulous because you can also see exactly how a student would see it if they were using it for accessibility purposes. So what it basically does is takes off all the bells and whistles and the extra things. So there's not going to be anything fancy. It's literally just going to be a page with the words on it. And quite honestly, it's still not unappealing. It still looks nice and is very well organized and is sort of easy to use and review, but it's accessible for students. And so it's always nice to be able to see your accessibility. You can exit that view here and get out of it and go back to your own normal view or editing view. And then if you want to see how it looks as far as when the student comes to the page, and you can of course tweak these things as well, but you can click play and it will show you as they move through the page, the headings will populate or photos will populate or however you have sort of designed it to look. And as you can see, you all know I just switched this over less than a couple of minutes ago. So this is just simply automatic because of the breaks and where they've been placed from the PowerPoint. My PowerPoint had no design characteristics or anything like that, but because everything is separated by headings and by pictures, etc., it knows how to differentiate between those and then automatically populates your headers, etc. So it's sort of a really nice way for the student to read, get more information as they go. It almost makes it like a live document. And I have just found, even for me as an instructor, this is so much more visually appealing for students than, like I said, clicking through a PowerPoint, right? If there's things that are eye-catching or as they go through it, it's populating things that they can then see and look at, that I just find that they're much more likely to use it and actually review it. So hopefully this was helpful. There's so many tips available on Microsoft and in the Sway tutorial as well, that I wish you the best in converting something and hope that it works for your benefit as it has for mine.